Welcome to How to Teach Letter Teams and Letter Sounds. For a young student, the easiest way to learn the basic sounds is to have them watch daily for a month or so. Letter Factory. Leapfrog. That frog repeats himself a lot. He never gets tired. For an older student or a student who knows most of their basic sounds, I like these charts. They're in sound order. You should go through the charts daily, across and down. Also, we're going to go over how to use the letter team charts. Most older students know the sounds on the first chart pretty well and may only need to review those a bit, but may need daily review of their letter teams for a while. Now, we'll get started with the consonant side of the letter chart. Every single row has the sounds where they're pronounced with the mouth in the same, and lips and tongue and throat and everything in the same position. Try some and see. Let's go through the first row. P, B, M. P and B are consonant pairs. Everything exactly the same except one is unvoiced and the other is voiced. M, is a different sound and slightly different, but still most things in the same position. Now let's try the next row. W and W. WH is unvoiced and W is voiced. In some parts of the country, they're pronounced the same. I pronounce them both the same, both voiced like W. Now, F, V. This is why leaf changes to leaves. F is unvoiced, V is voiced. TH actually has two sounds. Many people don't realize this. The first is unvoiced, the second is voiced. The, th. In this row, T and D are the unvoiced and voiced pairs. T, D. This is why different ED endings will be either pronounced ed or d or t. They'll have their voiced or unvoiced pair depending on the sound that comes after it to match the sounds. The rest of the row, n, l, r. L and R are very complex sounds. If they're after the vowel, they modify the sound of the vowel somewhat. However, they're actually, before a vowel, some of the easiest sounds to blend, along with and n. The nasally sounds, and L and R are, again, complex sounds. S, Z, again, unvoiced and voiced pairs, and this is why S commonly has a Z sound, depending on the consonants. Also, when it's pluralized, it's usually Z. And Y is a consonant, ya. Sh, J. J as in garage. J is the voiced pair of sh. Ch, J. K, G. And also in this row, ng and totally separate off to the side, X can either be cooks, a K and an S, or depending on what it's following, usually an E, a GS sound, as in exit. Our final consonant sound, H, ha, pronounced very deep in the throat. And QU is just a combination of usually K and WH, qua. But in some words, it can say ka, like in mosquito. You'll also want to daily drill this chart down if your student does not know it. Going from top to bottom, the consonant chart that we've been looking at starts with sounds that are close to the lips and moves to the back. So in this chart, they'll be going from, if you can see those little numbers, to 1 to 10, or left circling around to the right. Now we'll go back to the other chart and think about how it's moving further and further back in the lips and mouth to the throat. P, W, F, Th, T, S, Sh, Ch, K, H. Those were unvoiced. Now you'll go down the voiced row. B, W, V, Th, D, Z, J, J, G. Now the nasal sounds. These combine well when blending, for when you're first learning blending. N. Or we usually don't want to start with NG, just with n, and L and R at the beginning when you're doing beginning blending with the easiest sounds to blend. I usually do L and R together and then the Y below. L, R, ya. L and R are similar and complex. And then you go to the bottom two, which are combinations of other sounds, cooks and qua. Now, on to the vowels. Again with this chart, first you'll do it across and then you'll do it down. First, the short vowels, a, e, I, a. Then, long vowels. You can remind the students that they say their name when they're long. A, E, I, O, U. And U is a bit more complex. It can either say U or, depending on what it's around, it will drop the ya and just say oo. I usually do the left quadrant and then the right quadrant here. Oo, ah, ow, oi. Then I do the R controlled sounds. Or, R, ear, er. Depending on the region that you're from and how fast you're pronouncing the word, these sounds can be the same, or the ending might be slightly more schwad. Then you review the sounds going down. A, oo, ah. Next row, e, ow. Then, I, oi. And then, ah, o, or, and finally, u, r, ear, I find that my students, if they use these charts as a reference and color them in themselves, learn their sounds a lot faster. Any phonics reading or other reading you're doing, you have these charts readily available, and first you guide the students to the sound they need, and then they learn how to just look it up on the chart themselves. Perhaps the work of doing it or the movement, or I don't know, but whatever it is, it's just a lot quicker if they have to look it up themselves for how fast they learn their sounds. And finally, the letter teams, the vowel letter teams. There's also consonant letter teams that have already been covered. For my beginning students, I don't generally teach spelling rules, or I've tried, but they just bounce right off the head of a kindergartner. But my older remedial students, it can help to learn these if you also teach the spelling patterns at the same time. So now, let's go through. First, we'll show the ones that you don't need to learn. We'll put a big X through them and explain why. AE is only in a few words and wildly varies. IE depends on word length, so you'll skip that. It's normally I in short words and E in longer words such as yield. But I don't like to just teach one sound for it because it's in context. UY is only in a few words, and I've never had any students who've had any trouble with it. Now, some people teach it as a rule, but it's a horrible rule. But in these green words, it is the pattern. It's not a rule. The first sound long. A, E, I. O, U. Again, long U is a bit linguistically difficult, but only a few students have problems with it, and then you teach that as it comes along, but just have them memorize U. Next, second sound long with a W acting as a U. U. Then orange. Ah. Then red. I had one student who had a really hard time remembering this sound, so I made it red for him on the color-coded chart. Ow, ouch, blood. Ow. Then gray, E-I-E-Y, another way to spell long A. A. Then pink, oi. Then purple, oo. I teach these both at once because you can't tell which is which, and both sounds are fairly common. I also go back and talk about, or sometimes have the students say, the second sound of E-A, because it's also fairly common. So, first you have the students drill this on the color-coded chart, and then with the key, and then you see if they can do it without the key. And then you go to the black and white chart, seeing how many they know. And the ones they don't know, you go back to the color chart again for review. Keep working and they'll get them. The faster students know their letter sounds, the better and faster readers they'll be. You can watch my Train Your Brain to Read Faster video to see more about how this works and the science of sounds and reading speed. Some students need a lot more repetition to learn these sounds than others. You can practice with these charts and get in a lot of practice sounding out words with my phonics concentration game. For my son, I had to go through 4 or 5 phonics programs before he learned these sounds. My daughter only needed 1. It varies greatly between students, and dyslexic students will take even longer and may need an OG program and a kinesthetic element to learn all their sounds. Time to get in that repetition and rinse, lather, and repeat. Thanks for watching. Sorry about last month's video. It's been a rough month. I've already started working on next month, so hopefully we'll be good to go. See you back next time.